Album review time. Melophobia by the indie rockers slash psychedelic rockers Cage the Elephant. This is their third LP, and this time around things get a little bit brighter on a lot of moments on this album, something that might not have been expected from fans, but what might be surprising to you and what you might not have known, Melophobia, the album's title when literally translated, means the fear or hatred of music. And in an interview, Matt Schultz, the lead man of Cage the Elephant, revealed that this album was just very hard for the band to make. They went through a lot of struggles, even getting into apparently a physical fight at one point, I heard in one interview with Matt. So it was just a lot of work that went into this record, and they kind of wrote these songs, some of these brighter songs at least, to kind of, give two polar ends to things, so that, if there was a lot of negative coming in the studio one day, they put a lot of positive out, and that's what we get with this collection of songs here on Melophobia. Melophobia is really all over the place. You're going to hear things like Telescope, which is kind of like a breezy island-style rock jam, to anything like Black Widow, which almost feels like it was inspired by Arctic Monkeys. Classic rock, psychedelic rock, indie rock, all fused in with those traditional Cage the Elephant elements. It's something that actually makes for a winning combination the majority of the time. Come a Little Closer was the lead single from this album, and one that I was a little bit hesitant on at first, but I've definitely come around on. And it's different as always. Cage the Elephant have never brought the same thing to the table twice, which is something I definitely admire about them. But it's still very much got that traditional Cage the Elephant feel to it. It grew on me the more and more I heard it, and now it's definitely turned into one of my favorites on this record. I like the way it's kind of got a darker feel to it. It's got a really cool and slick bass line, and it also has some really cool, like kind of laid back, but also at the same time, powerful vocals from Matt Schultz. Then you've got songs like It's Just Forever, which has kind of a fuzzy dance edge to it with some powerful extra vocals from none other than what I immediately recognized as Allison from the Dead Weather. Those definitely, when they came in, I immediately recognized those pipes, and I was like, hey, that's Allison from Dead Weather. Halo's got that classic rock feel to it, and then you've got Black Widow, like I said, kind of that Arctic Monkeys inspired jam, I feel like, in terms of musical style and vocal presentation. Schultz's falsetto vocals honestly kind of get quite annoying the more and more I hear that song, and this is one that I can definitely easily say skip to. Take It or Leave It reminds me so much of the Beatles, it's not even funny. It's kind of cool in a weird way though. Once the chorus rolls around, you can't tell me that Schultz's "Oh why," and doesn't that sound a little bit like "Oh why," a classic Beatles jam? Please tell me if you know what song I'm referencing. Let me know in the comment section. You may remember I said Telescope, one of my favorite tracks actually, kind of has this island feel to it, a little bit of a breezy rock tune, and it also proves that Cage the Elephant are not afraid to try new things. And it's even got a good theme on it, lyrically as well. Don't waste your time. It definitely feels old school and makes me kind of long for the days that are long gone, like a leaf in the wind, as Schultz references in this track. Hypocrite is a track that's kind of a page out of the old tried and true rock formulas book that doesn't stray too far away from any specific path and teeters kind of on the edge of boring and interesting. I will say, however, that I really do enjoy the chorus on this one and the Beatles reference that's thrown in there. I watched the strawberry fields dry up and wither away. I feel like the Beatles definitely were a huge inspiration for the band on this record, Melophobia. Then we've got Teeth, which really opens things up with a monstrous barrage of noisy guitars. It breaks down to this fast-paced line and some more classic style Cage the Elephant vocals. It clocks in as the longest song on this record, but also one of the more entertaining, especially drum and guitar-wise. The shifting guitars around the 220 mark is truly weird, but also fucking spectacular. It goes balls to the wall and is not afraid to get loud and out of control. The latter fourth of the song sees Matt start to kind of rant and ramble about various topics, and it really gets experimental and psychedelic. Then we get to my favorite overall on this record. It's called Spiderhead, and that's the opening track for this record. It's a super peppy spark that really jumped out at me on first listen. With Matt Schultz's voice, as I've said before, you either love it or you hate it. I personally love it, and this is one where he really shows it off and just a good light. They've always kind of toyed around with various styles of psychedelia and rock, and this is one of the best songs that the band has turned out to date. Dark lyrics contrast amazingly well-themed, bright melodies, and one of the most entertaining experiences I've had on an album in a while. Definitely the highlight overall on the record, Melophobia, and my personal favorite, like I said. You've got to appreciate them shaking things up a bit and suddenly shifting gears right near the end of the track with the distortion on the vocals and the sudden burst of fury that really makes for an epic closing on this track. Cigarette Dreams is the last track we need to talk about, and that's the closing track. Unarguably one of the best closers, most solid closers on a rock album in recent times. Kind of blends and mixes a little bit of everything that was great about Melophobia into this one track. Soothing and upbeat, you're not going to want to miss this one. Overall, I really did enjoy Melophobia. There are tracks, like I said, that I don't like. Halo feels a bit boring and just lacks the Cage the Elephant edge that most songs have. Black Widow is kind of one that will grate on you and get on your nerves, but there are tracks that really do stand out and jump out at you, and some of the best work that Cage the Elephant have done to date. 4 out of 5 overall for me for Melophobia by Cage the Elephant. Let me know what you thought about the record in the comments section down below. You guys requested this one, so I wanted to get it out there and upload it for you. Let me know what I should review next. I plan on reviewing A Day to Remember, Fall Out Boy, Pearl Jam, and of course many other albums in this coming month. So make sure you subscribe, you're not going to want to miss out. Thanks for watching, guys, right here on Album Review TV, Beyond the Reviews.